Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I decided if I was going to come to Indiana Tech, I was going to be a different kind of instructor. I was really going to focus on connecting with students, teaching the students the theory that they needed and also the practical applications.
Very practically what that looks like is smaller class sizes. So my class sizes are the 8 to 10 up to maybe 20. And that's backed up with we have 18 hours of office hours every week. I'm sitting in my office waiting for students to come in to talk about anything. It doesn't just have to be with the classroom.
In the College of Engineering, we have ABET accreditation for mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and biomedical engineering. ABET is the top accrediting board for engineering in the United States and probably in the world.
Another thing that is a very different approach at Indiana Tech, I think, that some other universities, is we try and make sure they have a lot of lab experience in the engineering department. All engineering programs are going to have laboratory courses, but in our laboratory courses we try to get them not just exposure to measurements and exposure to some of the devices that you'll be used, but I like to actually assign projects that are, realistic projects.
Those projects, this project-based learning, help students to work together in a group and be hands-on with the material or the product that they're creating. Engineering students at Indiana Tech to me, stand out because I know that they've had a lot of experiences working in groups, working on projects, doing lab experiments to help them understand the material, and I think that prepares them well for industry.
First thing I'll tell a high school student is study, study, study. Get all the math you can possibly get. I honestly believe that the critical thinking skills you learn in math courses will help you with engineering courses.
The type of knowledge base that students should have coming in, they need to be problem solvers and critical thinkers. Those two things are really the essence of engineering. Regardless of flavor, they're going to need to figure out there's a problem here, how do I solve it? And they need to think critically about that. They need to observe, listen to people, and then kick in those problem-solving skills to solve the problem.
Part of the growth of Indiana Tech has involved an increasing number of international students. So I think if we can expose students to different ideas, different cultures, again, it makes them that much more competitive in the marketplace.
In the Fort Wayne area, we have lots of large companies, BAE Systems, Fort Wayne Metals, General Motors, Raytheon, Harris Corporation, and the list goes on. We have a lot of employers that want our engineering students.
Indiana Tech, I think, continues to serve students even beyond their graduation. We really strive to keep in touch with our alumni on a personal level just to see how they're doing, but then also they want to give back to the university because of the experiences they've had here, so they want to provide opportunities for other students here as well.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Schaefer Center at Indiana Tech and this broadcast of Indiana Tech women's basketball. We do have doubleheader action coming your way. Men's basketball comes up later, but first, it's the women taking the court against Rochester, and that game starts in just a matter of moments. Well, what's at stake tonight? Well, for Indiana Tech, if they win this game, they will remain at first place in the WAC conference. Their record is 14-2 now. Rochester also has a 14-2 conference record. The reason that Indiana Tech is in first place is because Indiana Tech beat Rochester on the road earlier this season. So if Indiana Tech wins this game, they'll remain in first place in the WAC conference. If Rochester wins this game, they will move into first place in the WAC conference. Of course, nothing will be secure at this point because Warriors will still have 3 more games left to go after this one. After tonight, The Warriors will take on Aquinas. That'll be on the road on Saturday, and then they're right back here a week from tonight to take on Michigan Dearborn. And then the Warriors are right back here a week from Saturday to take on Lourdes. That's a 1 p.m. start. And as for the Warriors of Rochester, that's right, both these teams do have the same name. They also have 3 more games. This coming Saturday, they're at Lawrence Tech. Wednesday, they're back home against Siena Heights. And next Saturday, they're on the road taking on University of Northwest Ohio. So nothing's going to be clinched tonight. However, whoever wins this game can gain some ground in the WAC conference standings. For Indiana Tech, they can gain a lot of ground because if they win this game, they will have swept Rochester. If Rochester wins, they'll gain a split with each team winning on the road in this series. We'll be back in a matter of moments as the tip-off gets a little closer to us. We'll have the national anthem and the introduction of the starting lineups in just a matter of moments. Again, Indiana Tech versus Rochester. Those two teams taking the court here in just a few minutes on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior basketball. As always, it's brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
We have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a warrior. Go Warriors.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior.
The 14-2 Indiana Tech Warriors versus the 14-2 Rochester Warriors. Those are the conference records about to take the floor. But first, we're about to have the national anthem and the announcements of both starting lineups here in just a matter of moments. We'll turn it over to the PA announcer and let him take over for the time being.
At this time, we ask you to rise. Gentlemen, please remove your caps for the national anthem presented by the Warrior Pep Band under the direction of Jessica Hartness. number 2, Ellie Isiar-Matos. At guard, number 20, Imari Martin. Wearing number 22 at guard, Jakarta Thompson. Wearing number 33, a forward, Lauren Wynn. And wearing number 42, Sienna Foster. Rochester's coach by Rick Wickner and Steve Webb. And now for your Warriors at guard, a 5'7" sophomore from Newport News, Michigan, Julie Decker. At forward, a 5'10" freshman from Dublin, Ohio, number 3, Taylor Covington. At forward, a senior from Gas City, Indiana, number 11, Erica Boyd. At guard, a 5'7" graduate student from Greensboro, Indiana, number 14, Kyra Whitaker. And at guard, a 5'10" junior from Westerville, Ohio, number 20, Bethany Warren. The Warriors are coached by Jeffrey Bates, assisted by Kylie Bates.
Oh, that we are just about ready for basketball. And to think, remember Rochester from the Warrior Classic? Of course, they are a conference rival of Indiana Tech's, but they were here at the Warrior Classic back in November. They were 0-1 going into that tournament, coming off a loss to Marion, and then they lost back-to-back games against Olivet Nazarene and St. Xavier. Following the tournament, they lost to Rio Grande, but then starting with a home win against Concordia Ann Arbor, Rochester went on to go 16-4 over the next 20 games. So here they are at 16-8 overall and battling for first place. The tip is going to be won by the Warriors as Bethany Worm chases that one down. Decker had a little lane, goes cross-court to Foy. Ball is loose. Foy looked like she took a shot in the eye. And she was slow to get back. She really took a shot, and Jessie Biggs yelling at her to get back, and now Foy's wide open. And Foy couldn't put it home. Oh, my goodness. But she was really bothered. Initially, it looked like by her right eye. And right now, she's just trying to shake that off. Rochester tries to work the ball inside. Covington going for it. Jakarta Thompson also going for it. And it is the Warriors of Rochester who come up with the ball as Matos gets around the screen. Shot clock down to 4. Traveling is the call. Must have happened before the pass. Matos, in all likelihood, the one who traveled. And well, it looks like Erica Foy is going to stay in the game to inbound the ball. Foy was slow to get back, largely because she appeared to be bothered by her right eye on the first possession of the game. As Covington drives inside, Brett Witchner wants a travel call. Foy battling for the boards. It's a jump ball. Possession arrow will give it to Rochester. We'll certainly keep an eye on Erica Foy as this game goes on. Right now, it looks like she's able to push through whatever kind of eye problem she was dealing with. That's Genevieve Decker who gets the rebound off the missed three, and here comes Covington for the Warriors. And we know she can shoot from the outside. We can say the same about Kyra Whitaker, and it looked for a second there like she was going to go for the step back. But Decker has played a huge role. She's averaging, I believe, 11 points per game. Covington for three, got it. And that gets the scoring started for the Warriors. Taylor Covington, the freshman from Dublin, Ohio. Alicia Matos running the point. She gets the ball off, and they work it around to Sienna Kloster. Matos for three. That's off the mark, and the rebound pulled down by Foy. Covington, after that made three, brings it back down, and Foy has made a big difference for the Warriors on the inside. They get it to Decker here, and so too Decker has made a big difference for the Warriors on the interior the last number of games. Doesn't take her long to get on the board. Matos driving against Covington. Covington staying with her the whole way. Traveling the call. Little help side defense there from Covington. Whitaker, the one initially guarding Amari Martin, and the double team forces the travel. Little full court press put on by Rochester. Indiana Tech close to the timeline, now across the timeline. Whitaker, the feed inside for Worm. Worm works the baseline, finds Covington. She's hit 1-3 already, make it 2. The freshman out of Dublin, Ohio, with 2 3-balls early on in this one, but Rochester gets on the board thanks to Lauren Wynn, senior out of Detroit. And a transfer from Macomb Community College as Covington gets fouled across the timeline. Sienna Kloster going to be called for that one. And head coach Brent Wichner of Rochester will make his first sub of the game. That's Crystal Rice coming in. Crystal Rice, if I'm not mistaken, is the leading scorer as far as points per game are concerned, averaging 11.7 in points per game. Get the ball into Erica Foy. That ball is knocked away and goes out of bounds. Indiana Tech will take over. My apologies there. Huntington is the team that played here for Indiana Tech's opener. Of course, for Indiana Tech fans, it was a night to forget because they lost that game. Lost it in overtime. As Foy looks inside for some help. Covington's hit 2 threes early on in this one. Decker, she's looking for help. The shot clock's down to 6. Will it be Covington to take the shot? Instead, it will be Whitaker. But an extra possession here is Covington. She traveled. An early 8-2 lead for Indiana Tech, but the door is open for Rochester to get a little closer in this deficit. They'll get a little closer here with Jakara Thompson on her dribble penetration. There's Whitaker across the timeline. So far, the most scoring for Indiana Tech has been 2 threes from Taylor Covington. She'll go baseline here and find Worm. Now, Worm has shown that she can hit from out there, but she misses that one. Crystal Rice with the rebound. And Rice quickly down the floor. Warriors get back on defense. Rice's jumper does not fall. And apparently Decker saved that in time. Wichner lobbying that she was out of bounds. It was a close call. Covington fires a 3. Good screen by Decker. And Covington is 3 for 3 from downtown. Look out for this freshman. She's got 3 triples already, and she is averaging double figures in points per game. A left-handed layup, though, on the other end, and that's Jakara Thompson. Number 20, Amari Martin. And Kara Whitaker got fouled there. It was on Martin, and she was not slow to admit it. That's the second team foul against Rochester. So far, Taylor Covington has been the majority of the offense, at least as far as scoring goes, for Indiana Tech. Of course, give credit to Genevieve Decker on the last possession. Give credit to Erica Foy for getting to the basket and scoring down the baseline. Foy took that shot to the eye earlier in the game. Seemed to be all right there, and there's Foy causing some trouble and forcing the turnover. Covington quick down the floor, finds Whitaker. That was a tough catch. Whitaker went up like a wide receiver to make that catch. One-on-one away from the block is Worm. Nearly stolen. Whitaker recovers. Shot clock down to 8. Whitaker trying to cross up the defender, missed it. It's tapped back out by Decker. Oh my goodness, Covington You can't cool her off with a fire hose. 4 threes already for the freshman out of Dublin. Here's Matos over to the top of the key for Jakara Thompson. Lauren Wynn, the floater. And that's Worm who comes away with the board. Covington down the floor, finds Whitaker. Foy, the extra pass. Worm gets fouled on the interior. Some subs will come in for Rochester. Chanel King is one of those subs. The other is number 3, Celeste Mersheimer. And Bethany Worm goes to the line. Worm unable to hit that free throw. 4 threes in the game so far for Taylor Covington. I don't think she's missed yet. Worm does get 1 for 2 here. Of course, we will check the official stats at halftime, but we do still have a whole nother quarter to go after this one's done before we get there. But either way, a good start for Indiana Tech in a game between the top 2 teams in the WAC conference. Indiana Tech number 1, Rochester number 2. Chanel King down the baseline. That's Covington defending her. King trying to make something happen and turns it over right back to the Warriors. That was good defense there by Covington. Good man-to-man defense, stayed with her the whole way. Whitaker around the screen, gets it to Foy. She'll pull up for the mid-range, no good. Get it outside to Celeste Mersheimer. Lauren Wynn looking to shoot it right over Foy. Foy staying with her, and Mersheimer missed it. Covington the board. Lofts it down the floor, and that's off Whitaker's hand and out of bounds. Subs will come in for Rochester and Indiana Tech. Mersheimer feeds it inside. Here's Ella Berger with the extra pass. Basket is good. Sienna Gloucester with the bucket. Junior out of Flint, Michigan, able to put that home. Rochester, by the way, is out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. It's going to be a busy weekend for Indiana Tech athletics coming up this weekend. More on that later on as Decker misses on the inside. King picked up by Covington. Covington's had the hot hand tonight as we've got inside 2 minutes to play this first quarter. Looks like Indiana Tech's gone zone here. Looks like a 3-2. They go outside to Berger. Berger from the free throw line, no good. Offensive board, Gloucester, turnaround shot. And it's boarded by Worm. Covington gets a screen from Worm as Rochester was trying to double her up as much as they could. Trying to double up Covington, that is. She's already hit 4 threes. Doing a good job on Worm, though, and there's a takeaway for Crystal Rice. Crystal Rice defending Worm all the way there and doing a good job of it. Rochester with a chance to cut into this deficit a little bit before the end of the first quarter. Down to 55 seconds. Driving inside is Gloucester. Gloucester, tough shot, no. Comes down to Worm. Worm sets the screen, and then Whitaker missed the 3-ball. Boarded by Juliana Burris, and she has it taken away. Rice steps back, fires across court. Errant pass goes out of bounds. I think she was looking for Mersheimer. And just fired it right to where the Indiana Tech boys team is sitting, or the men's team, I beg your pardon.
Hey, your video's not working. Not at home anyway.
Tech goes by many names: business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, Warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
Second quarter here at Indiana Tech. Warriors leading 17-8. 4 threes so far in the game for Taylor Covington. As Kyra Whitaker gets around the screen and finds Foy. They get it to Worm. Worm looking for help. She finds it. Whitaker's going to let it fly, and Whitaker hits a three. Three on the other end, that does not fall, and Foy has the board. Over to Worm. She goes across court to Whitaker, and Whitaker able to gather. Whitaker finds Corinne Smith, and Smith looking for some help. Shot clock's down to 7. Foy gets into the paint, leaning in and couldn't hit, but the putback is good by Genevieve Decker. Genevieve Decker, 4 points in the game so far. Leading scorer. We do apologize for those of you trying to tune in on YouTube. Had some trouble early on, but we're back on YouTube now and also broadcasting on Facebook, by the way. That shot's no good as Bethany Worm comes down with the board. Here come the Warriors. Kyra Whitaker brings it down the floor. Whitaker finds Decker. Smith able to find Decker again. They go inside to Worm, and Worm looked like she was fouled. Looks like that's going to be the call. Jakara Thompson will come in. Entry pass to Decker. That's Smith on the inside, and Corinne Smith is able to get it to go. Game between two teams that are in first, or battling for first place in the WAC conference. Indiana Tech's in first. Rochester's in second. Foul is called on the Warriors of Rochester. It's going to be a two-shot foul here against the Warriors called on Juliana Burris. Dakota Crone, a graduate of Woodland High School, who was the leading scorer for the Warriors last year. That is graduate leading scorer from the Warriors of Woodland. Got a lot of teams called the Warriors being brought up in this game. These two teams are called the Warriors, both Rochester and Indiana Tech, but Crone goes 1 for 2. Crone's former head coach, Gary Cobb, is in attendance tonight. As Decker gets into the paint, puts up the floater, too strong, and the rebound comes to Celeste Mersheimer. Mersheimer looking for help. She gets Matos off the feed, and Matos will bring it back outside. Matos fakes the pass. They work it around. Check that. That was Mersheimer who got the feed. Shot clock down to 5. That three is no good. Foy has the rebound for Indiana Tech. And here comes Taylor Covington. Whitaker goes inside to Worm. She's triple teamed, no good. Foy, the putback, that doesn't go. Thompson racing down the floor, leans in, count the basket, and a foul.
Rochester basket number 22.
6:55 to go in the second quarter. Thompson able to complete a three-point play, 24-12. Here's Covington, feeds that one off to Whitaker. Covington with 4 threes. Whitaker going for her second. She's got it. But quick back down the floor goes Jakara Thompson, and she'll bring it back outside. Thompson going to let it fly from 3. It's short. Decker has the board. Thompson will push down the floor. Hands that one off to Covington. Extra pass to Thompson. Thompson's 3 is good. 3 triples this half for Kyra Thompson. Kyra Whitaker, I beg your pardon. 3 threes this half for Whitaker, and Indiana Tech is up 18 points. We'll be back after this timeout on this broadcast of Warrior Basketball.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
.6:18 to go, 30-12 in favor of Indiana Tech. Trying to secure first place in the WAC conference. Well, not secure first place in the WAC conference, but take a step closer to doing so. Both Indiana Tech and Rochester are 14-2 in WAC conference play. The Warriors of Indiana Tech beat Rochester on the road in the regular season. Or earlier in the regular season. This is still part of the regular season. So if Tech wins this game, they'll be a game ahead of Rochester with 3 games to play. They won't secure first place in the WAC conference, but they will be a game ahead of Rochester with the season winding down. Good ball movement, that's Gloucester, who puts it in down low for Rochester. Kyra Whitaker, 3 threes already this quarter, and there's a takeaway by Alicia Matos. Thompson traveled. Thompson does not like the call as she shows her displeasure. Tried to get an explanation from the official, and so is Brent Witchner. Covington looking for some help. She gets a screen, and Covington throws it cross court for Genevieve Decker. Shot clock's down to 7. Worm sets the screen for Covington. Covington letting it fly, short on that 3. Thompson trying to get through traffic. Now she'll slow it down and reset the possession for Rochester. Alicia Matos has the ball, feeds that one over to Crystal Rice. Gloucester fakes the 3 and finds Matos. That 3 ball short and out of bounds. Juliana Burris will come into the game for Indiana Tech. She's out of Dublin, Ohio, just like Taylor Covington, who, and we do apologize to those of you who are trying to watch on YouTube. We'll post the broadcast to our YouTube page later tonight, the full broadcast, but Taylor Covington had 4 threes in that first quarter. That's an offensive foul on Foy. We get a sub into the game. That is Celeste Mersheimer. She'll take the place of Dakota Crone.
Face up on them.
Rice gets it inside. They fake the handoff to her. They go back outside to Thompson. Thompson has it taken away. Burris forces the turnover. Here comes Whitaker down the paint, and she's fouled. Kyra Whitaker with 3 threes here in this second quarter. Unable to hit that free throw. She's got 9 points for the game. One for 2 goes Whitaker, and she's able to add to the Warrior lead. That's a catch and shoot for Mersheimer, and Mersheimer's 3 is off the mark, kept alive, and out of bounds. Looked like that was touched by the Warriors. They say no. I thought Worm was the last one to touch it, and the officials are going to say Indiana Tech ball. Corinne Smith will check in for Indiana Tech. 4:08 to go in the second quarter. Taylor Covington brings the ball across the timeline. Whitaker lets it fly. Her 3 is good. Kyra Whitaker from downtown, that's her 4th triple. Step back 3 on the other end, that won't go, and it's Smith who's got the rebound. They fire it down the floor for Foy, ripped away, out of bounds. Indiana Tech keeps the ball. Mari Martin comes into the game for Rochester. Covington looking to get it in. She finally does to Burris. Whitaker almost had the ball poked away. There's Covington. Missed that one. Had 4 threes in the first quarter. Mersheimer into the paint. She's going to be called for traveling, trying to work around the paint. And she turns it over. Burris gets around the screen from Foy, finds Smith. Foy wants to go baseline. She will, and draws the foul. That's going to be on Sienna Gloucester. .305 to go. It will be Indiana Tech ball. They put 20 seconds on the shot clock. Into the game comes Lauren Wynn. Battle for first place in the WAC conference tonight as Indiana Tech has beaten Rochester on the road already this year, trying to complete a sweep. And Rochester's got a tall hill to climb, down by 20. Indiana Tech beat them by 20 when they went on the road to Rochester Hills. Bethany Worm comes back into the game. They inbound it to Mersheimer. Matos swings it back outside. And they get the ball out to Rice. 2-3 zone by Indiana Tech. Down to 6 on the shot clock. Matos, the drive against the double team, no good. Put back, that doesn't go either. Worm got the rebound. Smith had a little trouble with it, and that's Rice who's got the takeaway, but she took it to the deck. Corinne Smith has come in for Indiana Tech. Corinne Smith gets a lot of good minutes off the bench. She's a sophomore out of Fenton, Michigan. There's Whitaker, another 3. Oh, it was halfway down. Lauren Wynn with the board for Rochester, and she gives it up to Matos. Foul is called on Amari Martin's drive to the basket. It was before the shot. It'll be the 15th foul, though, on Indiana Tech, so this will be bonus for Rochester as Martin goes to the line for 1-1. Taylor Covington will enter the game for the Warriors. She'll take the place of Burris. That's one Dublin, Ohio native checking in for another. Burris is a junior. Covington's a freshman, and Covington has had an impressive season really all year long. I think that's the softball team walking downstairs, or maybe a couple of softball players. Indiana Tech softball plays their home games at Warrior Park, which is off campus, in a complex not too far from Wayne High School. Smith fakes the pass and finds Decker. Worm looking for help on the inside. She finds Covington. Whitaker, the step back, gives it up, and that's going to be a foul on Worm. Well, for Bethany Worm, that's her, or did they call that on Martin? I think they called that on Amari Martin. This is going to be Warrior ball. That's Martin's third foul. Foul was on number 20, but they called it on Martin instead of Worm, as Whitaker gets it up to Covington. Smith wants to go baseline. She's double teamed, finds Worm at the last second, and Bethany Worm puts it home. And I do believe that's Worm's first made field goal of this game. Jumper on the other end. That was Matos, couldn't hit. Beg your pardon, that was Mersheimer. Whitaker goes into the paint, high off the glass, and it goes. Cairo Whitaker starting to turn it on here in the second quarter. He's already hit 4 threes this quarter as that shot is missed by Crystal Rice. I've got Whitaker for 15 points in the game. Of course, we will check the official stats at halftime. Indiana Tech beat Rochester by 20 points in the regular season when they went to Rochester Hills. The officials with a discussion here. Inbound goes to Wynn. Just barely able to catch the handoff there as Mersheimer. Wynn able to keep it alive. It was Thompson on the three who couldn't connect. And here's Whitaker. Shot clock is still turned on. There's about a 7-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Whitaker taking some time off the clock, and now she finds Worm. 3 ball on the way, it is good, and that is Corinne Smith late in the shot clock. Game clock's down to 1. Mersheimer gets it off, and no foul call. That's going to be the end of the first half. Indiana Tech takes a 41-15 lead, trying to go all alone in first place. That's exactly what will happen for the winner of this game. Indiana Tech currently first place in the WAC conference with a 14-2 record. They beat Rochester on the road, so that's why Indiana Tech is at first place. They'll remain all alone in first place if they hold on to win. So far, so good for the Warriors. They're up 41-14. We're back after this on SummitCitySports.com.
Hi, I'm Paxton, and I'll be your tour guide today. Behind me, we have Pearson Hall. This is one of our freshman dorms on campus. Today, I'll be showing you dorm rooms. Come inside. The only way to get into campus is if you have an ID card, so you'll have to swipe into all the dorms. And then over here, we have an intercom system. So through every dorm, we have these dial buttons within the dorm rooms and then outside. So say you're visiting somebody, you don't live here, you would dial their room number, and then you can actually call their room, and they can unlock the doors to the dorm through the intercom system, and you can talk to them. They can see you through a camera, and they can unlock the doors for you so they don't have to leave the room. It's really nice to have. So right here we just have our main lobby. Every floor has a lobby. In the lobbies we just have TVs and stuff. You can watch movies, play video games. You can hang out with friends, do homework, play card games. It's just a nice little hangout area to have. And then right here, this is what we call our RA office. So every single night there will be an RA in the office. They're just there for your needs if you have any issues with toilets or sinks or anything being clogged. They'll always be in there for your help. If you have questions about anything, you can always come see an RA here. And then over here, we have mailboxes. Every student has a mailbox. They are really small. The only thing they can fit is card-sized items. Throughout campus, you'll see our mail room when you go on your actual tour later on, and that will be in one of our other buildings where you'll receive bigger packages. All right, so here's the laundry room. So in the laundry room, you don't have to save quarters or use quarters. I know it says 25 cents, but it is included with living on campus. And then there's one on every floor and every side of the floor, so there's 2 on every floor in Pearson. So every student has keys to their dorm. And then as you come in, you will see our intercom system right here that I talked about in the entranceway. So this is where you would unlock the door for visitors, talk to them. And then one really nice thing about it is there is a security guard button right there. So if you were to have somebody like calling your room constantly at like 5 o'clock in the morning because some student forgot their keys, you could actually press the security guard button and it will lock them in that little box that we entered to into the dorm. It'll lock both the outside doors and the inside doors and call security. So it also has a nice safety measure within your room. You don't even have to leave your room for that. So it's really nice. And then as we enter in this way, you'll see this is the half of our room looks like. So there's this, and then on the other side of the suite, there's a mirrored room that looks exactly like this. The desk, the dressers, and the closets, and all of the drawers and stuff all come with. You can decorate it any way you'd like, and then like mini fridges, TVs, anything like that you would bring here. And then through here we have our bathroom. So then as we come into the bathroom, you'll see that this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then as you come through, there's one shower shared between the two rooms, and then this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then there's the mirrored room right here. So then they share a little common space out there, and then this is the exact same stuff, and it's all the same. Here we have CalFlush. This is our other freshman dorm on campus. It is across the street from main campus. We'll be showing another freshman dorm, the laundry room, and then the hangout lobby area. Come on in. So same thing as Pearson. To get into the dorms, you have to have a swipe card that unlocks and lets you in. All right, and then we have the same intercom system as we do in Pearson, and it runs throughout all of the dorms. And then in here is the lobby area where all the students hang out. We have like a TV so people can hook up like Xboxes or anything like that, DVD players, you can watch movies. I know RA's put on a bunch of activities down here. They do like movie nights with hot chocolate during the winter. We've done like pumpkin carving, and we watch a Halloween movie, and so that's all done down here. And then it's the same thing over here. You can do some studying, you can hang out with friends, you can eat dinner if you want, and like I said, you can hang out with your RA, hang out with your friends, do homework, but follow me to the next part. So same thing as Pearson, every student has keys to their dorm. So when you first walk in, it's different than Pearson where there's no like two mirrored room. It's just one room with two students. The shelves, the desk, the drawers, all of the beds and stuff all come with. And then over here, it's the same for Pearson and CalFlush. You can control the air condition and the heat for the room, not the entire dorm, which is so nice because then it's between you and your roommate, not through hundreds of people in one building. And then as we walk over here, you'll see that the sink is outside of the bathroom, which is so nice because obviously if your roommate's showering, you don't have to worry about not being able to brush your teeth or even use the sink or get a drink of water or anything like that. And then as we walk over here, you'll see only two roommates to one bathroom. And then the shelving space. And then instead of Pearson where they have closets, you would have this whole shelving space and hanger area. And then same thing as Pearson, we have the intercom system over here where you can press the security guard button, you can talk to them, and then see them through the camera. CalFlush also has mailboxes. They're the same size. They fit card-sized items. And again, if you have any bigger packages, we do have a mailroom on campus. So then through here, this is the laundry room. The difference between Pearson and CalFlush is CalFlush, there's only one in the whole building and it's on the first floor, whereas Pearson has them on every floor. But it is the same as they are included with living here, so you don't have to use quarters. It's free to the students. And that concludes the tour. Thanks for coming with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to your counselor. Hope to see you around campus. Go Warriors!
It is halftime here at the Schaefer Center on the campus of Indiana Tech. The Warriors with a 41-15 lead. The Warriors of Indiana Tech, that is, leading the Warriors of Rochester. We do have a couple of replays to show you before we get to our official stats. And they feature two of the players who have been shooting lights out from beyond the arc. This first one features the freshman Taylor Covington. Covington hit 4 threes in the fourth quarter. We do apologize, though, for those of you who may have been trying to watch on YouTube, had a little trouble in the first quarter, but Covington does hit 4 threes. There's one of them in the first quarter. That was her third three of the ball game, and this next one was Covington's, or check that. It was Covington's 4-3 of the ball game. Swatted back out there. I think that was Decker, but Covington was wide open, and she was able to knock down that shot. Now, Kyra Whitaker has 4 threes in the game. We'll go ahead and show you her 4-3 of the game. Just gave her enough space, shot it right over Jakara Thompson, and Whitaker was able to knock down her 4-3. Not surprisingly, both those two individuals are having high-scoring nights. First, we'll give you the scores for Rochester. Their leading scorer so far is Jakara Thompson. She has 5 points in the game. Sienna Gloucester has 4. Amari Martin has 3. Lauren Wynn has 2. Celeste Mersheimer has 1. For Indiana Tech, Kyra Whitaker is their leading scorer. She's got 15 points in the game. Taylor Covington has 14. Corinne Smith has 5. She had a 3 late in the first half. Genevieve Decker has 4. Bethany Worm has 3. And Erica Foy has 2. Foy did take a shot to the eye early on in the ball game, but she's been able to remain in the game to this point at least. Got about 6 minutes to go until the second half gets underway. Good time to remind you that Indiana Tech Athletics has a number of athletic contests coming up this weekend. Remember that later tonight, men's basketball takes place. Indiana Tech taking on Rochester. Then on Friday night, we've got 2 Indiana Tech contests. One of them is men's volleyball against Cornerstone. Ryan Dellinger has the call on that one. Also on Friday night at 7:30, Indiana Tech men's hockey takes on University of Michigan Dearborn. Joe Hacker on the call for that one. Then on Saturday, more Indiana Tech men's basketball as the Warriors take on Aquinas. Ryan Dellinger will have the call on that one as well. Both Aquinas and Cornerstone out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Indiana Tech leading 41-15 over the second place team in the WAC conference. Both Indiana Tech and Rochester have conference records of 14-2, but Indiana Tech did beat Rochester over at Rochester Hills earlier this season. So they would have the tiebreaker against Rochester at this point. If the Warriors were to hold on to win this game, they would be all alone in first place. If Rochester were to come from behind and win this game, they would be all alone in first place. So there's a lot at stake in this game tonight. 41-15 the score. We're back in just a moment on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior basketball, brought to you as always by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
We have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.
41-15, Indiana Tech on top of Rochester. Two teams battling for first place in the WAC conference. We do still have 2 quarters of basketball left to be played, but Indiana Tech, after beating Rochester by 20 points on the road earlier this year, is looking to beat them by even more this time around. They're up 26 at halftime. Second half comes your way in just a minute here on this broadcast of Warrior Basketball.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
We have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
Ready to start the third quarter here at Dan Klein Court on the campus of Indiana Tech inside the Schaefer Center. 41-15, Indiana Tech looking to get to first place. They won't clinch first place with a win tonight. However, they will move into all-out first place. No tie in record with Rochester if the Warriors win this game. But if the Rochester Warriors were to come back and win this game, they would move into first place. Both teams are 14-2 in conference play. Indiana Tech did beat Rochester on the road in Rochester Hills earlier this season. So the Warriors of Indiana Tech looking for a sweep. We're saying the name Warriors a lot tonight. By the way, mentioned earlier, there's one player for this Rochester team who's from Woodland High School. Their mascot is the Warriors, as Indiana Tech starts with the basketball, and Foy starts off the second half with the made jumper. Erica Foy out of Gas City, Indiana. She went to Mississinawa. Miscommunication on that pass. It was meant for Crystal Rice. And Indiana Tech takes over off the turnover. 43-15 in favor of the Warriors of Indiana Tech. Taylor Covington had that great first quarter. Comes across the timeline and finds Foy. Covington had 4 threes in that first quarter. She finds Foy. Foy has not taken a 3 in this game. Cutting in is Worm, and Worm kind of chucks it off the backboard, but gets the offensive board and swings it back outside to Taylor Covington. Shot clock winding down. It's down to 3. Whitaker has it blocked. Decker gets it off. It did hit the rim, so an extra shot clock for the Warriors. Another offensive board. That's Decker again. And then Decker gets fouled from behind. Decker doing some work on the offensive glass for Indiana Tech. Inbound goes to Foy. Foy with a jumper. She got it. Thompson looking to lob it. Instead goes to the top of the key for Rice. They do get it to Kloster, and Kloster gets fouled. The basket will count. Shiana Gloucester will go to the charity stripe. Try and complete a three-point play, and she does. Junior out of Flint, Michigan. Rochester brings a press. Warriors beat it. It's Whitaker down the floor. The wraparound pass to Decker, and Decker puts it home. Decker, after doing so much good work on the offensive glass, the last possession is the benefit of the behind-the-back pass from Whitaker. Rice, contested three, got it. Crystal Rice rattles home a three with Whitaker right in her face. Whitaker comes out to get the ball. As it poked away by Rice, and then Rice was fouled by Whitaker. Whitaker was going for the ball and ended up making quite a lot of contact there as they were able to pull her off at the end of the play. That's only Whitaker's first foul. It's the second team foul this half against the Warriors. And the Rochester Warriors will take over.
Let's go, Jeff. Keep working.
Thompson around the screen. Dishes it inside. Gloucester able to put it in. Whitaker, the late feed, and Foy missed the shot, but she's fouled. Foy goes to the line. 24-point lead for Indiana Tech. They'll add to it here as Indiana Tech trying to remain in first place in the WAC conference. A win today would accomplish that feat. That was halfway down. Nearly stolen by Covington. Thompson, the extra pass. Gets it back. Thompson drives, and she gets fouled. Looked like she was in the act of shooting, so she'll go to the line. Inbound goes to Gloucester. Gloucester goes outside to Matos. High pass over to Gloucester. Matos will fire a three, and that's short, off the hands of Whitaker and out of bounds. Ball will stay with Rochester as Juliana Burris will check in. Catch and shoot three, that's no good from Thompson, and the rebound is ripped away by Foy. Foy almost had the ball knocked away. She's able to recover. Covington going baseline, slows it down, finds Burris. Covington had those 4 threes in the first quarter. They go inside to Worm. Off the hands of Decker, or was it? Out of bounds off of Rochester is the call. Comes with 6:40 to play. Long pass to Worm. She makes the catch. Shot clock's down to 3. Covington gets it off, missed it, and it's Thompson with a rebound. Whitaker and Smith ready to check back into the game at the next stoppage. That floater does not fall, and Worm able to grab the rebound. Burris across the timeline, gets into the paint, leans in, missed the shot. Worm's got it, missed the putback. Looked like Worm was headed back before the ball went down. Well, step back three almost. They get it to Gloucester instead. And Amari Martin's off the mark on her three. Gloucester has it blocked, but off of Foy and out of bounds. Ella Berger checks back in for Rochester. Lauren Wynn will come in as well. Long inbound to Thompson. Right over Worm. That shot's no good and kicked out of bounds, I thought, by Rochester. They're going to say it's Rochester ball. Inbound goes to Thompson. Win. Contested shot, that's no good. Wynn will go to the line. Wynn with just 2 points so far in the game. One for two and a good rebound by Decker. Tell you what, she has played so great in the post for Indiana Tech. That time showing it with the rebounding ability. She's shown it with a scoring ability in recent weeks. Tonight showing it more with the rebounding. That pass stolen away by Rice into the hands of Matos. Matos 1-on-2, and she scores with the left hand. Still a large lead for the Warriors, but the Rochester Warriors making a comeback effort. That ball's out of bounds. They're going to say off of Indiana Tech. So Rochester will take over. Erica Foy will come back in for the Warriors of Indiana Tech. And a timeout is going to be called by Jesse Biggs. It's a 30-second timeout. We will stay with you on this one and show you one of our replays. This one from right here in the third quarter. Kyra Whitaker, the behind-the-back pass to Genevieve Decker. And Decker has not been doing a lot of scoring tonight, but she's done some good work on the glass, both on the offensive and defensive glass. Battled for a couple of offensive rebounds earlier in this half as she tries to help Indiana Tech take a step closer to finishing first place. They can't clinch first place tonight, but they can move into first place all alone in the WAC conference standings. Again, both Indiana Tech and Rochester came into this game at 14-2 in conference play. And we will remind you that we've got men's basketball coming up about 8 p.m. tonight between these same two schools, Rochester and Indiana Tech. Got 5:10 left to go in this third quarter. And the call initially was the ball out of bounds off of Indiana Tech. So it looks like Rochester's going to have the ball coming out of this timeout. And it looks like there's a wet spot on the court just next to the sideline. And just inside the sideline, it turns out, just outside the court. Brett Witchner and the official both mopping that spot up. Well, it's amazing to think about how Rochester started this season. They started the season 0-4, lost back-to-back games here on this very court as part of the Warrior Classic. They did not play Indiana Tech in that tournament, but they lost 4 straight to start the season, and now they sit at 16-8 overall. That's right, they've won 16 out of their last 20. It will be Rochester ball as Alicia Matos looks to put the ball in play. Matos gets it into Jakara Thompson. Thompson finds some help. That's Wynn at the top of the key. Wynn looking for the turnaround shot. No good. Battle for the board, and that ball's out of bounds off of Whitaker. Whitaker and Ella Berger were both battling for the ball. But it's going to be Rochester who takes over here as Rice puts it in play. They try to zip the ball inside. Rice knocks it out. That three's no good. Offensive board by Lauren Wynn. Her shot doesn't fall. And Decker could not save it in time. Check that. That's Foy going after the ball. And the long possession for Rochester continues. Alicia Matos will put the ball in play. A catch-and-shoot jumper and a foul is called as Jakara Thompson did miss the shot with just 1 second on the shot clock. But now Thompson will go to the line to shoot two. This long possession could well result in points for Rochester as Juliana Burris gets ready to check in. Thompson able to hit the first. Indiana Tech led by 30 points at one point in this third quarter. That lead's now down to 21. And that's a lane violation. That free throw's not going to count. Lauren Wynn called for the violation. Foy finds Covington. She's double teamed in the backcourt, looking for Burris. She finds her. Whitaker faked the three, shot clock winding down. Warriors looking to break a scoring drought. Instead, they turn it over. And Rochester's going to take over with 4:19 to go. Bethany Worm will go into the game for Indiana Tech. Alicia Matos will bring the ball across the timeline for Rochester. Matos directing traffic. She wanted either Berger or Martin to cut the opposite way of where they were going. Berger goes down the baseline. Pull-up jumper. It's no good. And Foy has the rebound for the Warriors. Smith finds Covington. Back to Smith. Smith gives it up to Whitaker. Shot clock down to 7. Driving to the basket is Foy, and she puts it in with a shot clock at 5. A long time since the Warriors had gotten a made bucket, but they're able to snap that drought. Erica Foy, rather low-scoring night for her. Well, not quite. She does have 9 points, so it's been a decent night for her. High screen set by Berger. Rice for 3. No good. Worm comes down with the board for the Warriors. Guarded heavily by Berger. Whitaker wanted the 3, but a good closeout by Jakara Thompson. Smith goes baseline, lost the ball. It goes out of bounds, last touched by Rochester. Shot clock will not reset. The ball never hit the rim. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Just simply a ball out of bounds against Rochester. Celeste Mersheimer has come back in. Covington looking to put it in play. She's got Whitaker open, gets it to her. Shot clock's down to 4. Burris down the baseline, gets it off, puts it in. Juliana Burris beats the shot clock. That's 2 possessions in a row the Warriors have beaten the shot clock. I say beat the shot clock, I mean they beat it coming down to the wire. That ball's knocked away, appeared to be off of Thompson, and that is the call. As one of the Wayne TV guys scoops that up. Zach Groth, on the other hand, got out of the way. He's from Channel 21 here in Fort Wayne. Inbound goes to Whitaker. She's double teamed in the backcourt, looking for some help. Finds Burris. Worm, the lob to Foy, and Foy is fouled. And it looks like she's going to shoot 2. Question is, do they call it continuation? Celeste Mersheimer called for the foul. And it looks like it will be called as continuation as Foy is headed to the free throw line. Foy couldn't connect that time. She does hit the second one, and Erica Foy, but that made free throws into double figures for this game. She's got 10 points. As down the floor comes Alicia Matos. She is fouled, and it looks like Matos will go to the line. Matos, no good on the first try. Again, reminder, we've got Indiana Tech volleyball, men's volleyball, coming up this weekend. So Warriors take on Cornerstone on Friday and Aquinas on Saturday. 2 teams from Grand Rapids, Michigan, as Matos goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Long pass down the floor. Foy finds Whitaker, and Whitaker gonna fire a 3 right away, no good. Not sure Jessie Biggs wanted her to take that shot so quick. We know Foy can shoot from downtown. It's not a question of can she make it. It's just a question of, is it the right time to shoot the 3, as Mersheimer lets it fly and knocks it down. That's her first 3 of the game. Warriors trying to beat the press. They do to Whitaker. Whitaker brings it back outside. Covington slows it down, gets it to Whitaker. Whitaker able to find Worm. Down to 2 on the shot clock. Whitaker does get it off, but it won't go. That'll go out of bounds, and Rochester takes over. We'll also remind you that we've got men's basketball coming up after this game's all done. As Genevieve Decker comes into the game. That men's game scheduled to start at 8 o'clock. May get a later start depending on how things go. It's a big lead for the Warriors, but it's almost 7:15 and we're down to a minute to play in this third quarter. 1 more quarter left to play as Crystal Rice gets the feed. Rather low-scoring night for Rice. She's held to just 3 points so far, but she's going to go to the line here as Whitaker fouls her. Rice is the leading scorer for Rochester coming into this game. She averages 11.7. Rice will add to her total. 54.4 seconds left to play. Obviously, the shot clock is still a factor. Rice, 2 for 2. Decker one-on-one toward the basket, blocking foul, count the basket. Genevieve Decker. She's done a lot of good work on the boards and gets to the free throw line with a chance at 3 with that last bucket. That bucket puts Decker up to 8 points for the game. Missed the free throw, though, as Mersheimer gets the board. Here come the Warriors, quick down the floor. Matos able to put that one in. Burris able to avoid the turnover, gets down the floor, and taken away from behind by Gloucester. Burris didn't see her. Thompson takes over. The shot clock is still on. There's about a half-second differential between shot clock and game clock. They're actually going to turn it off. Shot clock had less than a minute. Less than what the game clock had. Down to 5 seconds. 3 ball. Matos, no good. Foy gets the rebound, finds Whitaker, and she's not going to get off the desperation heave. 55-35. Indiana Tech trying to close out Rochester and get to first place in the WAC Conference. Back for the start of the fourth quarter in just a moment on Indiana Tech Warrior women's basketball.
Tech goes by many names. Business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, Warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
A 20-point lead for Indiana Tech. They beat Rochester by 20 earlier this season when the Warriors went on the road to Rochester Hills. First time these two teams have played each other, as the Warriors trying to close out the regular season series with a sweep. And not only that, but also get to first place in the WAC Conference. They're technically already at first place in the WAC Conference with a 14-2 conference record. Rochester comes in with that same conference record, but with Indiana Tech beating Rochester earlier this season, the Warriors from right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, would have the tiebreaker as Rochester takes over to start the fourth quarter. Ten more minutes of basketball left in this one. Warriors bring it back across the timeline. They get the ball over to Amari Martin. Crystal Rice with a rather low-scoring game, only 5 points. She averages 11 points per game. That's off the hands of Gloucester and out of bounds. Inbound goes to Whitaker. She finds Covington. Covington able to protect the ball. Late feed, Decker, the fake, and she's fouled. Celeste Mersheimer called for the foul. And Decker's free throw does not go. Second one is good, and Decker a little bit closer to double figures. She's got 9 points for the game. Mersheimer goes across court to Rice. Back to Mersheimer. She'll fake the three and find Gloucester on the inside. That's blocked by Foy. And then Worm gets tripped up and fouled. That's going to go on Gloucester. Worm finds Whitaker. She's double teamed. Finds Covington across the timeline, and then Covington hits the deck after she got fouled. Jakara Thompson going to be called for the foul.
Stay tough, stay aggressive.
Inside to Worm. She gets it outside to Covington. Whitaker has space from downtown and buries a three. Fifth three of the game for Cairo Whitaker. Slowing down is Matos. Matos fouled on the shot. Count the basket. And Alicia Matos has a chance at a three-point play. Matos able to connect on the free throw. Whitaker down the floor, looking for Decker, gets it to her, and Decker gets double teamed, has to bring it back outside. Smith, or rather Foy, going baseline, and she turns it over. .25 left to go in this fourth quarter. Indiana Tech looking to finish the deal against Rochester. As Berger able to find some help from Martin. Mersheimer was thinking about a three ball. Indiana Tech, the man-to-man defense, no shot. Basket will not count. Foul is called on the floor. They're going to call it on Decker. Inbound goes to Berger. Matos is fouled on the drive. They're going to call it on Erica Foy. Or check that. They're going to call it on Crystal Rice. It's a foul on Rochester, not on Indiana Tech. And we do remind you that men's basketball comes your way after this game is all done. Indiana Tech, though, trying to move into first place in the WAC conference, in the women's WAC conference standings, that is. Baseball style pass, looking for Smith. She saves it, but right to Matos. Mersheimer down the baseline, spinning in. That shot rolls right off, and Worm is fouled on the rebound. Going to call it on Ella Berger. And do we have a technical foul here? Looks like we do have a technical foul on Rochester. Nope, it's not a technical foul. It's the fifth team foul against Rochester, so it puts Indiana Tech in the 1-and-1. Worm able to hit the free throw. Two for two. Matos down the floor. She's picked up by Covington as Rice will drive to the basket. Rice She's had a fairly low-scoring night, but she's going to the line here. Check that. It's a non-shooting foul, so Rice not quite going to the free throw line, but it will be Rochester ball. That's the third team foul on Indiana Tech. Matos, the dish to the corner. Martin almost turned it over, and that looked like traveling. She moved her pivot foot. That's an offensive foul, though, so it's going to go back to the Warriors in the end. Crystal Rice called for the foul. Crystal Rice commits her second personal foul. Since it's an offensive foul, it will not put the Warriors at the free throw line. Here's Covington coming down the floor, looking for Foy, and Whitaker will let some more time come off the clock. She finds Covington. Worm looking for Foy on the inside, throws it long. Foy saves it. Rice keeps it alive on the deck. Racing down the floor is Matos. Matos with the left hand. Whitaker has the rebound. Covington comes across the timeline, finds Worm. Whitaker one-on-one. Shot clock down to 10. Now the Warriors at this point probably don't mind taking some time off the shot clock. They'll need to get a shot off here as Covington finds Whitaker. She's going to let it fly, and that's a shot clock violation. That did not hit the rim.
Go get the ball. Go do it.
Jesse Biggs might have been looking for a foul called against Rochester that was not made. Well, screen there by Rice to help free up Matos. Martin drives inside, loses the ball, and a foul is called. It's going to be Rochester ball on the baseline. Foul was called on Corinne Smith. It's her third. And the inbound goes to Berger. Berger going to let it fly from downtown. Her three won't fall. Offensive board, Mersheimer, and Worm gathers the board for Indiana Tech. Whitaker slows it down. Now looking to play fast at this point with the 20-point lead, but that's Covington for three, and she hits it. And I do believe that's Covington's fifth three of the ball game. She hit 4 in the first quarter. Mersheimer dishes it outside. Rice for three, and that's going to go over the backboard. Some subs will come in. Melanie Moore makes her first entrance of the game for Rochester. Chanel King will come in. She has been in this ball game. Juliana Burris will come in for the Warriors. They take over, leading by 26. They won by 20 against Rochester earlier this season as Covington fires down court for Whitaker. Whitaker had Foy wide open. She's going to take some extra time off the clock. Now they find Foy. Foy gets in position but missed the shot. Melanie Moore with the rebound for Rochester. Here's Martin. Amari Martin from the baseline throws it away. Dakota Crone will re-enter. She's a graduate of Woodland High School over in Woodburn, Indiana, not too far from here. A native of Harlan, Indiana. To make a long story short, Woodland is basically the result of a merger, so to speak, between Woodburn High School and Harlan High School. 5:22 to go in regulation as Whitaker finds Burris here. Dakota Crone, by the way, was the leading scorer at Woodland her senior year. Woodland did have a great season this year, but their season came to an end in the sectional championship game when Garrett beat them. Covington got to get the shot off. She does with one on the timer. She missed it. And there is Dakota Crone with the rebound. Chanel King dribbling around. Shot clock's down to 12. King with the ball back. King puts up a floater. That's off the mark. And Foy with the rebound. You know, the Warriors have done so many of the little things right. Talk about schemes all day long, but good rebounding, good defense by Indiana Tech. That's a big reason why they've got this big lead that they have, as Burris will get on the scoreboard here. She technically was already on the scoreboard, but that is her first three. And it's a 29-point lead for Indiana Tech. King trying to answer on the other end. She does get her own board and puts it back. Whitaker gets the feed. Burris cutting to the paint. They find Whitaker, but it's knocked away by King. Celeste Mersheimer comes down the floor one-on-one. Mersheimer has it roll right off. That's out off of Indiana Tech. Genevieve Decker will come back in the game, and Olivia Bussell, the freshman from Monroe, Michigan, checks in as well. The roster for Rochester is mostly made up of Michigan natives, Ohio natives, Indiana natives. So we got a foul called on the Warriors. One player, Ariana Naylor, is from Flint, Michigan, but she's a transfer from Pensacola State College. I assume that's Pensacola, Florida. Town in the Panhandle, the hometown of the likes of Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith. At the free throw line here is Cheyenne Gloucester, and she's unable to connect on the first free throw. Cheyenne Gloucester is from Flint, Michigan, transferred from Mott Community College. Couldn't hit that one, but an offensive board by Melanie Moore, and she could not put it in. Comes back to Moore, and Moore puts it in on the second try. Full court pressure by Rochester, and the Warriors find Taylor Covington. Around the screen from Worm. Worm backing down into the paint. Puts up the shot right over King, and that wouldn't fall. Moore has the rebound. Less than 3 minutes to play in this one. And that ball's going out of bounds in the direction of Dakota Crone. Warriors will take over. Lauren Barton, a junior from DeWitt, Michigan, will check into the game for Indiana Tech. Juliana Burris will bring the ball across the timeline. Barton sets the screen. They give it to Covington. Burris into the paint. Dishes it outside for Covington. Shot clock's down to 6. Covington will bring it back outside. Barton comes available and scores. Laura Barton with the late bucket. The junior from DeWitt, Michigan, cashing in against one of the many Michigan schools in the WAC conference. It's called the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, but Indiana Tech is the only team from the Hoosier State in that conference. As Crone fires a three, that won't go. Taken back by Cheyenne Gloucester. Bussell feeds that one inside. Leaning in with a shot is Moore, and she's fouled with 3 on the timer. Looks like Jesse Biggs is going to get Corinne Smith back in there late in the game. Moore able to connect on the first free throw. That's her first made free throw in this game. Melanie Moore is a freshman, native of Warren, Michigan. That's going to be a lane violation as Gloucester jumped into the lane just before the shot was taken. 1:51 on the clock, and it looked for a second like the Warriors would make a substitution. Instead, they stick with the 5 they've got out there. Burris across the timeline. Smith feeds it outside to Burris. Covington goes inside looking for Decker, and Decker has it blocked by Gloucester. And the ball is taken away by number 34, Melanie Moore. As Bussell comes down the floor, missed the jump shot, Barton the rebound. Burris finds Covington. Smith the extra pass over to Burris. And that's going to be a timeout as Jessie Biggs wanted to get a couple of her subs into the game. Lainey Steckler and Amaris Lowry went to the game. Lainey Steckler from right here in Fort Wayne. She went to Carroll High School. As for Lowry, she's a native of Dublin, Ohio, much like Juliana Burris and Taylor Covington. 11 seconds on the shot clock here with 57.5 to go in regulation. As Indiana Tech is on its way to a monstrous win over Rochester. They'll remain in first place in the WAC conference and go to 15-2 in conference play. They'll also go to 22-3 in overall play. Smith, the floater, no good. Pulled down by Moore. And ripped away by Lauren Barton. Shot clock is still a factor, but now Indiana Tech can basically just bring the clock all the way down to less than 20 seconds before they take another shot. And we're going to have a foul away from the ball. Looks like it's on Rochester. They're going to call it on Olivia Bussell. 28.1 seconds on the clock. Shot clock basically is no longer a factor as Amaris Lowry comes up short on her first free throw. Second one also rims out, and Bussell has the board. This will likely be the final possession of the game for Rochester. Bussell down the floor, and it may be their final possession, but they do score off of it. And now once Burris gets across the timeline, she can let the clock tick away. 69-45. Indiana Tech going to move to all alone in first place in the WAC conference. They'll improve to 15-2 in conference play. Rochester improves to falls to 14-3 in conference. And I beg your pardon, Indiana Tech's record overall is 21-4 with the victory. 21-4 as they knock off Rochester a commanding 69-45. Well, for our Parkview Sports Medicine players of the game, we're going to recognize the two players who are knocking them down from three in the first half. Those were Kyra Whitaker and Taylor Covington. They each had 4 threes in the first half. Covington 4 in the first quarter, Whitaker 4 in the second quarter. So Whitaker and Covington are your players of the game. The Warriors win it over Rochester and move to first place all alone in the WAC conference. For my cameraman, Ahmad Williams, this is Thad Goff. We do hope you'll stick around and rejoin us for men's basketball. It comes your way in about 20 minutes. You've been watching Indiana Tech women's basketball, brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260s dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior.